In this video, we're going to continue solving real world problems using SOH CAH TOA, but this time we're going to look at angles of depression. So angle of depression is a little different. It's the angle between the horizontal and the line of sight, but this time when you're looking down. So when something's up, looking down at something on the floor or something lower than it. So when you draw your triangles this time, they're going to be kind of flipped over. So it's going to be like the angles coming from the top corner instead looking down. And that would be called your angle of depression. So it's formed with your horizontal to whatever you're looking down at. So it's very important that you're reading your problems carefully so you know how to draw your triangle. So in your problem, if you see angle of depression, you're going to draw your triangle like this instead. So that line of sight's going down. Here it says the angle of depression from a fisherman on top of a cliff to a boat 320 feet from the base of the cliff is 27 degrees. So my angle, when you're doing angles of depression, is going down from that line of sight. So it's going to be there at the top of your triangle because you're looking up, you're looking down to something. And it says from a fisherman on top of a cliff to a boat 320 feet from the base of the cliff. If that's how far it is from the base, that's how far it is horizontally. So that would be 320 on my horizontal here. And we want to know how tall is the cliff. How tall would be the height, the part that goes up and down. Since we don't know that, I would put an X on that side. So here we have our fisherman on top of the cliff. And down here we have the boat that he's looking at the base of the cliff. I'm ready to label my sides, so I have my hypotenuse. This is my angle, so X would be opposite, 320 would be adjacent. I'm going to cross off the hypotenuse because that side's blank. So if I'm deciding between SOH, CAH, and TOA, this one would be TOA because it has A and O. So tan 27 degrees equals our O is X and our A is 320. For this one, X is on top. Remember, if X is on top, you're going to multiply. So it's 320 times tan 27 degrees. Once I have my problem set up, I can go to my calculator.net. I'm going to plug it in, and this comes out to about 163 feet. So here I get about 163.0, and then my units are feet because that's how tall the cliff would be in this picture. Our next problem, I'm going to check if it's angle of elevation or depression. Here I see it's an angle of depression. So remember, if it's an angle of depression, you draw your triangle upside down. So it says the tower of an ancient castle, 231 feet tall. So that's my height, 231 feet tall. Casts a shadow that is 388 feet long. So if you're thinking about a shadow and the way you're looking at it, the shadow is usually horizontal. It's made on the ground. So that would be on the horizontal line here. And they want to know the angle of depression. So remember, your angle of depression goes from the top looking down. So here, since we don't know it, I'm going to put an X there for my angle of depression. And we're trying to figure out the angle of depression that the sun makes with the ground to create the shadow. So that our sun makes with the ground. I'm going to go ahead and label my hypotenuse. This is my angle, so 231 is opposite, 388 is adjacent, and I'm going to cross out my blank side. So here, if I'm choosing between SOH, CAH, and TOA, I use TOA because it has A and O. So we have tan x degrees equals 231 over 388. And here we're solving for missing angle. So to get x by itself, you move tan to the other side, and you put the inverse sign, the -1. So now I'm ready to plug this into the calculator. So I'm going to plug in tan -1 of 231 over 388. So I get about 30.8 degrees for this one. And I'm going to put degrees because we're solving for the angle. So that would be the angle that the sun is making looking down to that ground. So just to summarize, when you're doing angles of elevation, like we learned in the previous video, angles of elevation, you do a regular triangle and your angle is going to be in that bottom corner because you're looking from the ground up. When you're doing an angle of depression, you do an upside down triangle because now you're looking from the top down. So your angle is going to go on top because you're looking from there down. Remember, your height is always that vertical line on the triangle. If you're looking from something to the base, that's usually your horizontal.